it is my pleasure to introduce one of those amazing WSOS alums. Please give a warm welcome to our 2018 Scholar Speaker, Yarelly Gomez.
I didn't know they were going to play Yon Sebastian. Much like the structure of a poem, our lives take many forms before reaching their final format. When I think of poetry, I often think back to my mother and her innate ability to convey a message beautifully. The kitchen was my mother's laboratory, and on this particular day, her experiment led my nose straight to the pot of steaming frijoles. It's 3 a.m., and I am accustomed to this being my wake-up call. It's cherry season, and my brother and I are preparing ourselves for the early morning cold with heavy clothing. As my mother finishes packing our lunch, I look outside into the dark of early morning. My 8-year-old body braces for another day of field work. We grab the termo of tacos de frijol and a large jug of water, and my mother locks the door behind her. We take our ladders and head straight to the row of trees we were assigned. The rustle of leaves and Mexican radio can be heard across the orchard. The exhaustion begins to hit me, but I look toward my mother's ladder, and her hands continue to move at the speed of light. From one tree to the next, she moves seamlessly, pausing only to drink water. It's at least 8 hours later, and I can no longer take the afternoon heat. I climb down from my ladder, and I yell to my mother, "Nos vamos? Can we leave?" I hear the squeak of her cherry splash sneakers climb down from the ladder, and she looks me dead in the eyes. In a very stern voice, she says, "Si no quieres hacer trabajos como estos por el resto de tu vida, enfócate en la escuela. Pero hasta que llegue ese día, tenemos que hacerlo así." In other words, if you don't want to do these kinds of jobs for the rest of your life, focus on school. But until then, this is how we have to do it. It was at this exact moment that I knew I needed to invest all of my energy into my education. My father had to stop attending school after 2nd grade back in Santa Maria, Mexico. An education does not feed you in Santa Maria, Mexico, and an education does not put clothes on your back in Santa Maria, Mexico. So my father made it his mission to provide the food and the clothing for his children so that they could pursue the education he sacrificed. As a freshman at Sunnyside High School, my school was on the brink of being shut down for having only a 50% graduation rate. My dream was to attend the University of Washington, and I feared that the graduation rate would cause university recruiters to not even consider me as a prospective student. I took AP classes and advanced level math and science to make my transcript stand out among applicants. I pushed myself to such an extent that I even took trigonometry as a senior, although I already had sufficient math credits. No matter how hard I pushed myself to understand, I was struggling with certain concepts in this class. And then I was publicly humiliated by my own teacher when she said to me, "What don't you understand? Are you stupid?" I was devastated. I questioned my intelligence, and I resented math. I wanted nothing to do with a career that required math skills, because I never wanted to experience humiliation like that again. I could never have imagined that the very thing that broke me would be my motivation to prove not only that teacher wrong, but to prove myself wrong as well. And then I was accepted into the University of Washington, Bothell. And as a freshman, I fell in love with programming. I was scared. I knew how much math skills programming required. I feared I was not smart enough. But while working at the IT center on campus, I met a Washington State Opportunity Scholar, Abby. Abby was a mentor at my job and one of the only women I knew doing extreme technical work. I looked at her as an example of what I strive to be. When I expressed my interest in pursuing programming as a major, she encouraged me. When I said, "I am not smart enough to be a programmer," she responded, "No one is." Abby said, I failed my entry classes before being accepted, but I didn't give up. I took those classes again, and now I'm in my major. This really changed my perception of failure. Abby saw failure as a stepping stone towards success, and an inevitable step at that. She advised me that the entry-level courses were extremely challenging and were known to be difficult to pass. But she said, if you fail the first time, don't worry. Take what you learned from the failure and use it the second time to pass, but don't give up. If Abby was any representation of what WSOS stood for, I knew I wanted to be a part of it as well. I applied to the program, and I could not believe the email that read in large, bold words, "Congratulations, you are a Washington State Opportunity Scholar." I immediately initiated contact with WSOS and began my lifelong mentorship with amazing individuals like Teresa, who made it her mission. Teresa! Who made it her mission to help navigate spaces that were scary and unfamiliar to me, and she believed in me. One day, she came to me with the wild idea that I accompany her to Microsoft for a pancake breakfast and share my Opportunity Scholarship story with the attendees and the president of Microsoft himself, Brad Smith. Nervous isn't the word to describe how I felt as he passed me the microphone. I shared my story with a tremble in my voice and ended with, "Brad, remember me because I'm going to work for Microsoft one day." This was only one of the many things I did because of the confidence the Opportunity Scholarship instilled in me. While back home in Mexico visiting family, I received an email from Teresa encouraging me to apply for the Microsoft Young Technologist internship. I remember looking around the tiny village of Coahuayana and laughing at the idea that I'd ever have the honor of working for my dream company. But yet again, the push from a mentor swayed me in a direction that I otherwise would have never considered. Not only was I chosen to be a part of Microsoft Young Technologists, but I met 3 new amazing mentors while there. Vanessa Filiberti, Shannon Bernstein, and Jennifer Rance pushed me to my limits as an intern. They expected more from me, and this made me push myself to reach new heights. In May of this year, I graduated from the University of Washington, Bothell. With a degree in interactive media design and an emphasis in computer science and software engineering. The day I went in for my first post-grad job interview for full-time employment at Microsoft, my mentor, Shannon, was there to greet me and help me calm my nerves. More importantly, on July 9th, 2018, Shannon was there to lead me to my workspace as I joined Microsoft as a full-time program manager. Maybe you've noticed a pattern by now. Every amazing opportunity I was given started off as a push in the right direction by a mentor. Every mentor helped form the words that are, in the grand scheme of things, my life story. Much like the structure of a poem, our lives take many forms before reaching their final format. Similarly, we may go through draft after draft, attempting to best convey the message we'd like to deliver, until we finally realize that the beauty lies within the journey to create something perfect. The experiences that mold you and make you who you are do not define your limitations. My mother conveyed the message of an education that led me to this stage today. And I'd like to end here by conveying one of my favorite messages of all time by poet Mario Benedetti. No te rindas, por favor no cedas. Aún hay fuego en tu alma, aún hay vida en tus sueños, porque no estás sola, porque yo te quiero. In other words, don't give up, please don't give way. There is still fire in your soul. There is still life in your dreams. because every day is a new beginning, because this is the hour and the best moment. Thank you for sharing this moment with me.